Natchez Trace Parkway is a national 444-mile scenic drive through 3 states, and it roughly follows the old Natchez Trace, which is an historic travel corridor used by American Indians, cane tucks, European settlers, traders, soldiers, and presidents. It took us 3 days to travel the whole scenic drive. We didn't stop at every stop, but this will be part 1 of the trace, where we started in Natchez, Mississippi, all the way through Jackson, Mississippi. Our very first stop was the Elizabeth Female Academy. Now, if you don't have a map or the National Park Service app, they do have these arrowhead-shaped signs along the scenic drive to let you know that there is something to stop and look at. Now, this is the site of the very first female college in America, and this is a short walk to the site of the building where you can still see the ruins there today. This building was originally built in 1818. Now, there are lots of places along the parkway where you can stop to view the old Natchez Trace. This was the very first one that we saw, but there is better, more sunken traces up along the road, but this was the first one we stopped at. Our next stop was Emerald Mound. This is the second largest temple mound in the United States. It's an 8-acre mound, and it was constructed from a natural hill that was built and used from about 1300 to 1600 by the Mississippians, which were ancestors to the Natchez Indians. And unlike dome-shaped mounds constructed only for burials, Emerald Mound supported temples, ceremonial structures, and burials of a complex society's civic and religious leaders. And it's a great place for the kids to get out and stretch their legs. The next stop we made was the Loess Bluff. Now, Loess is just a name for a deposit of windblown topsoil. Now, this bluff is kind of covered with trees. You can't really see it here, but we've heard of these before. We've actually seen them before in Iowa on a road trip we've taken through there before. So that's all it is just a windblown topsoil known as Loess. Our next stop is Mount Locust. Now, there's a bathroom here. There's plenty of parking. This is a whole complex that you can walk around. Now, this home was constructed in 1780. It's one of the oldest structures in Mississippi. It functioned as both a working plantation and as an inn where travelers on the trace could rest for the night. And Mount Locust is the only surviving inn of the more than 50 that existed during the time of the great use of the old Natchez Trace. For 25 cents, guests received a meal of corn mush and milk and sleeping accommodations on the house's porch or grounds. We visited in May, and Mississippi is the magnolia state, and their magnolia trees were in full bloom. There are lots of places to stop for picnicking. We stopped at the Coles Creek picnic area. It had a bathroom, it had about 17 picnic tables, and it's right on a creek. Now that our bellies were full, we were on to the next stop, but before I move on, I just wanted to say how quiet this place was. I'm sure they have busy seasons, but when we went in early May, it was just so quiet and peaceful. We rarely saw anybody else driving it, and it was just such a nice place to get away, but yet you were still close to everything you needed. Our next stop was the Sunken Trace. Now this is a deeply eroded section of the original trace, but in my opinion, it's one of the best sections to view it because it's so well distinguished. The next stop had two things to view. The first thing we viewed was the Grindstone Ford. It's a half-mile trail. You go past an old cemetery and it takes you to the place where the travelers had to cross or ford the Bayou Pierre. And the second thing to view at this stop is the Mangum Mound. Now this actually was a burial mound. Our next stop was Owens Creek. Now over the years the water table has dropped several feet and the spring which feeds Owen Creek has all but disappeared. But if there's been rain in the area, the creek will start flowing again and a waterfall will appear. Luckily for us, there had been rain in the area.
Look! Something that I can throw.
And our last stop of the day was at the Rocky Springs site area. And for our camping friends, they do have a campground in this area. They have picnic tables, bathrooms. They have places to park and do hikes, but they also, what we went to is the old town site of Rocky Springs. Now this town was originally founded in the 1790s. It was like a booming town. In 1860, they had a population of 2,616 people. The population today is 0, but there's a short hike that'll take you to a church that's still standing. And you can see 2 safes and cisterns along the way. This ended our day 1 on the Natchez Trace Parkway from Natchez to Jackson, Mississippi. Stay tuned for our next video where we will show you from Jackson to Tupelo, Mississippi. And until next time, adventures are out there. Are you? Thank you and have a blessed day. Bye!
mountains high. With every mile we travel, in the beauty we will find. God's creations all around, so wondrous and so kind.